everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast for you. This week, I actually went to see Snow White. I had wanted to see it in 3D, but apparently they decided not to do it in 3D anymore. I'm really pretty sure I saw that it was supposed to be in 3D originally, and I was looking at the movie screening times, and I'm like, where's the 3D showings? And then apparently it's not in 3D, so I just went with IMAX because whatever. And I don't think it's going to make a lot of money because the IMAX theater was not very full. Anyway, it is another unnecessary Disney live-action remake. I had hoped that perhaps this might be one of the better ones because, like Dumbo, that was the only one that I actually was like, this one's not bad. Because the Disney live-action remakes tend to be carbon copy, scene for scene, sometimes shot for shot recreations of the original animated classics. So they're boring because you know the story and it's the same thing. They'll add one song for Oscar consideration, but it's 99% the same movie, just with live action and CGI. I thought this was going to be more like Dumbo, where, because Dumbo was so short, and they basically just used that premise and created a whole new movie out of it. And I thought, they're not doing the Someday My Prince Will Come, being rescued and everything. They decided they're going to make this more modern, and Snow White's going to be a strong, independent female character who's going to take back her kingdom herself. So I'm like, okay, well, they're going to have to, tweak the story here and there. So that'll help keep things a little interesting, and it won't be a scene-for-scene, shot-for-shot remake. Unfortunately, the stuff that they added was so generic and lame, and you're just like, that's the best you could come up with to update the story? Oof. And the best parts of the movie ended up being the original material done in live action. And that extends to the songs too. Like, they use a couple of the songs. Obviously, she's a strong, independent woman. She's not singing Someday My Prince Will Come. But they have the dwarves singing Hi Ho, just with some additional lyrics to stretch it out. And they do the Whistle While You Work. But then they add in all these other songs to make it a generic Disney musical with, the whole town singing together as the We're Happy big opening number. And then you have the Evil Queen takes over, so Snow White gets her I Wish song. And then you have other, and it's, and then there's, instead of Someday My Prince Will Come, there's Princess Problems, which is like this weirdly funny, witty song that doesn't quite match the rest of the film, but whatever. And it just becomes a generic Disney musical, and that's unfortunate. They didn't try to do anything more interesting. I will say that throughout it all, Rachel Ziegler shines. Like, she is terrific. Like, through her talent and charisma and star power, she almost sells it. She actually does manage to sell a lot of the scenes that she's in, but unfortunately she's not in the whole movie. And Gal Gadot, very well cast as a beautiful evil queen who is obsessed with her looks. That's fine. She's gorgeous, so fine. But she is not the strongest actress, and she just doesn't pull it off. Like, she's out of her depth. And that's before they asked her to sing and dance. The villain's number is not good. It's disappointing. So that didn't help. And I will say that the dwarves are as horrific as you would expect. Instead of casting actual little people, they cast CGI dwarves to just take the animated dwarves and their cute features and CGI them so that now they all have the big ears and bulbous noses and long beards, but now they have like realistic pores and eyelashes and moles, and it's just terrifying. There's a reason that you did them as a cartoon, because when you do them realistically, they're horrific. They're actually on par with the horrific furniture in Beauty and the Beast as far as being like nightmare fuel. I still think that was actually worse than the dwarves, but that's just my personal opinion. There are certain things that should not be turned live action. You have to keep them cartoony. But then it ends up looking weird, like the CGI animals in the forest with their big eyes because they want them to look cute and cartoony, like in the original animated film. So they do them realistic, but with the big bulbous eyes, and it's just weird and unsettling. So I can't recommend it. I would say wait until Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus, just wait. It'll show up there in a month or so because I don't think it's going to make a whole lot of money. So yeah, that was, I knew it was going to be disappointing, but it was, yeah. So that's why I'm not looking forward to that Lilo and Stitch one, because I actually enjoy Lilo and Stitch, and that one looks like it's probably going to be one of the shot-for-shot ones where they just remake the entire film start to finish and throw in a new song. So not looking forward to that. But if it's in 3D, I will see it. As for games, I want to follow up on last episode where I mentioned that I was about to do Sam's friendship quest in Starfield. And I did that quest, and I helped Lillian. It turns out I don't think she can die. I think you just end up finishing the mission, and then she's like so grateful. And you help her and Sam like work out custody of Cora, and then it's all good. And then Sam is like, hey, when you're ready, I want to talk to you. Let's meet at this spot on Aquila City. And I was like, okay, sure, let's do that. So I go to Aquila and meet him there, and we have a conversation. I mean, he was already my companion anyway, so like we had the conversation, and that's where you like, he expresses his feelings, and then you can say, I love you too, or let's just be friends. I pick romance over friendship, and then things get a little more serious, and then you do get a second chance to like back out and say, you know what, let's just be friends. But of course I was like, no, you're my guy. Now that Barrett is gone, you're my guy. And I didn't tell him he was second choice, but whatever. And then he's like, yay, and he gives me a hat that matches his, and then we look all cute and adorable. And then he's like, I need you to talk to Cora and make sure she's okay with this. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense, sure. So I go and talk to Cora, and of course Cora is like, yeah, whatever, like, you're good for my dad, I like you, you're fine, let's just do this, it's fine. And then you talk to Sam again, and things are moving very quickly at this point. You talk to Cora, which, I mean, she was on the ship because Sam was my companion, so I go and I talk to Cora, and then she's like, okay, I'm fine with it. So I go talk to Sam, and when I talk to Sam, that's when he's like, all right, let's go to Aquila City and go to my family estate. We were already on Aquila City, obviously. This whole thing is happening on Aquila City. On Aquila, I mean. And then it also, the game was like, Sam is now your companion, you can't dismiss him until after you finish this quest. And the quest is basically the wedding. So I was like, oh, okay. So I basically went to the estate, talked to his dad, and then I had to go and get Cora at the bookstore and Lillian at the spaceport. And then everyone gathers at the co-estate, and we have a commitment ceremony. And, you know, Sam says some lovely things, then I get to say my vows. You actually get to choose your vows in the dialogue options, and it was lovely. And then suddenly you're partners, and that's it, you're husband and husband. I will say I appreciated that the game like took care of those story beats, like talking to his daughter and everything. I thought that was nice, and it felt very realistic, even if it happened really quickly because we were already there. I guess I could have put off talking to Sam or Cora and done other things and then come back to it. But I do kind of wish that, I know it's a first-person game, and having a cutscene would have been weird. I still wish that there had been a cutscene to like have everyone applauding and Sam and me kissing just at the end of the thing, just to make it like a moment. They don't really do that because it's all in-game, because it's first person. I would have liked that. Not in first person, because Sam coming at the camera would have been a little weird. But I kind of wish there'd been a cutscene or something. Although it did make me, this whole thing where it's talking about all the love and getting committed and everything, that did point out to me that you can romance any of the options. Male, female, It doesn't matter. It's all unisexual. And what I realized is all the dialogue is completely gender neutral. Everything is just, they are not recording male dialogue and female dialogue, depending on who's doing the romancing. It's just non-specific. So it works for everything, which is a little disappointing. And I kind of would have liked the kiss, but whatever. It's not like BioWare where you romance and then you have like a cutscene with a sex scene right before the big grand finale. Because that's the other thing, is like, I appreciated that this felt more real in Starfield, but it also happened, I'm still like, I feel like I'm only in the halfway point of the game. So I still have a whole game left to go. So that sort of, it was a lovely, dramatic, emotional moment when I married Sam, but I do sort of wish that it had happened later in the game, like that the game had said, you can't do that until later, before the big grand finale, because it gives you a nice emotional, personal moment before you go into the final battle. And I like that BioWare holds it until then, and it has a little more dramatic weight because it's just a sex scene. But here, it had dramatic weight because of the dialogue and the emotion and everything. But now I've still got the second half of the game to go, which is a little weird. The other thing I wanted to talk about is I kept my promise from last episode, which I don't usually do. I used my day off work to finish the Quarry. Yay me. The day didn't quite go as I had originally planned, but I adjusted and I was still able to finish it, and it did not go well. I managed to keep everyone alive till the very end, and then there are 10 chapters in this game. At the end of chapter 9, things went south in a big way. I missed with the shotgun, which caused 2 deaths, and then I missed a quick time event, which led to another one, and then I succeeded with another shotgun shot, but then I missed the follow-up shot, which led to another death. I think there were like 4 teenagers left alive, and only 2 of them were like unscathed physically. Mentally they're fucked up, I'm sure, but like, because one of them is infected and one of them has lost a hand, so there was only like 2 people who were like, we're whole, we're safe, we're good. I don't know if it's the worst ending you can get, but it was certainly a bad ending. Like, only one of the bad guys is dead, so the rest of them are still out there, and it was not a good ending. The quick time, I take the blame for that. That was just me not having good reflexes. Also, I feel like because it's like the end of the game, they get a little pickier as far as like the timing of it. The shooting I hated, because the shooting, you have a shotgun and then there's no reticule on the screen because they're going for realism, so you have a flashlight taped to it, so it's whatever the flashlight beam is hitting, but it's a big ass flashlight beam, and I totally was like, bam, and I somehow missed, and then I got killed. And I'm like, that just feels cheap, you know? And then just, it was this domino effect of like, that led to all these other deaths, and it was just like, it just felt cheap, and I was annoyed. But that's just because I don't think that was a good gameplay element, you know? Like, as far as the controls, like, the shooting was just too loose and too easy to fuck up. I also didn't like the hold your breath game mechanic. I liked the one in Until Dawn where you had to hold the controller really, really steady, and the gyroscope would like tell if you were shaking and shivering, so you had to stand as still as possible so they wouldn't see you. And that was kind of a fun thing. And in desperate situations, I would actually put it down on the coffee table just to make sure that it didn't vibrate too much. But here you just hold down the X button to hold your breath until they go away, and then you let go, and it's like, whatever, who cares? That was disappointing. I preferred the don't move. That was a better mechanic as far as gameplay. I will say that after you finish the game, you do now have the option to play various chapters. So I plan to eventually go back in and do chapter 9 and try again. They also give you a death rewind feature so that you have 3 chances to rewind. If someone dies, you can rewind it and try again. And I unfortunately feel like I'm going to use all 3 of them on that first shotgun shot, trying to figure out when I'm supposed to pull the trigger so that I actually hit the creature. and then the rest of them will fall where they may. But I just didn't want to go back and play Chapter 9 again because it's really, really long, and I was just like, I can't immediately turn around and go back and redo that whole thing with the stuff in the junkyard and the stuff in the house just for that last scene where maybe I don't die again. And I also feel like if I can pull off the correct ending of Chapter 9, then Chapter 10 would change very dramatically, I think, if I'm understanding the story correctly. I will say, in general, I liked this one a little better than Until Dawn. I felt like this, like the story held together better. The first Until Dawn was just this complete mishmash of genres, and it's like, is it a monster movie, a ghost movie, a slasher? What is this? And they were trying to like, I get it that they were trying to like be like everything, and they're like, it's going to be a little of every genre, but it just ended up feeling kind of messy. It was entertaining, but messy. This one is like, there's some mysteries of what's going on over here, what are these people up to, what's going on, but it all comes together in the end, and it all makes sense, and it's all one story. And in fact, the fortune teller who's narrating it to you, played by Grace Zabriskie, actually ties into the story, which I liked. The whole thing comes together, and the story felt more solid. I just felt like at the end, the gameplay got a little cheap, and then everyone died, and it was frustrating and annoying, and now I have to go back and redo it in the hopes of getting a better ending. But it's just going to take so long, and I'm like, let me not do that right away, because I literally just did it. So we'll see. I probably won't do that in the immediate near future, so I probably won't have that to talk about next episode, but come back and find out what I do want to talk about next episode. Bye!